All right, we are at it again. Good morning. We are out here messing around because we have to. I think it's a good 37 degrees out here today. It's cold. The 2004 TSX is running lean. I'm getting the code of knock sensor. Maybe change it. Just by observation, your knock sensor for the 2004 5, 6, 7, 8 TSX and other K series engine alike is literally here on the other side of this intake manifold. Can we see it? No. I can't. I can see it better at night. It's casting shadow and the sun's bright, but it's back up in here. I think we have to take off the intake here. I'm just observing. Is there any way we can go without taking the intake off? I mean, it's not complicated, it's just a few extra steps. At any rate, we're gonna find out. So let's dive in. Oh, I got out of bed too early. Went to the junkyard this morning. Got some stuff. Some more accent pieces. I got another heat shield. This thing was unscathed. I'm gonna water blast it and clean it. But besides the point, let's get in here. And it is cold out here. I'm just touching that wrench. That ratchet is just freezing my hands. That's why I don't work in the cold. I'm in an apartment complex. My second job requires me to be at an apartment complex where I oversee certain things. Not to divulge too much information, but I'm going to get gloves. It's just nuts. And this is going to be complicated. These gloves that I have on are mechanics or like gardener's gloves. They don't have touch sensitivity for phones, so work with me. We just took the cover off. That's all. 2 millimeter bolts. Stud here and stud there. To get the manifold off, I'm going to take it off first, just to see what it comes off with, without taking the intake, the exhaust manifold, the intake manifold, without taking that off, just to see, because you can always sit this back on. It's going to detach right here. You can always put it back on and just unplug this. This is not a problem at all. But you're gonna this one, I think, this one here, and one back here. And I know it's another one. This is gonna be the pain. You might not be able to see that because I'm either going from the bottom or I'm going from the top. Again, the light, the sun is casting a lot of shadow in here, but down here there's a bracket at the bottom of this intake. As you all might know, it goes all the way into the engine, but at the bottom of it there's a bracket that actually supports at the bottom. It's should be a 12 millimeter bolt that keeps it from just support in addition to that, because as you see, it's, well, I haven't taken it out yet, so we'll find out. Just stay tuned here. And just for knowledge's sake, these are 12 millimeter studs and bolts, so plan accordingly. All right, we've undone all the bolts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, and I got to the one down here. This is not as bad. I'll try to show it once I remove all this stuff. But as you see, you should be able to pull it straight off now. And if there are some bolts that haven't been taken off, it will not budge. Something else is grabbing onto it here. So I'm gonna come back and say it's probably because we just got to take it all off. We may not. Well, I can see if we can try to see the knock sensor. Well, that's what your intake manifold look like, but we're going further. I can't see the knock sensor. It's so bright. Yeah, I'm a man to be thorough and in detail. So we're going to take all this is it's attached to your throttle body. So we're going to remove the intake here so we can completely take this out. I see it. I'm going to show it to you so we can get a better look at it. And look, a lot of this stuff I'm not going to go into detail with until we get to the throttle body, which again, it should be straightforward. You're taking bolts off. All right, like the air intake box is 4 screws. 1, 2, and 3, 4. So that comes up. This is a clip. You pull these off, take this out, unpunch everything. It's another clip right here, and this is it's on by pressure and a small it's a small screw here that's a big old massive clamp that keeps that on. So that all that stuff is straightforward. It's not, this part of it is not rocket science. Just by mere observation, you should be able to go and take all this stuff out yourself. So I'm gonna do that again. My point is off camera. This is out of level 10, this is level 2, maybe 3. Level 3 difficulty. And just for further insight, I took 1, 2, 3, 4. These shouldn't come off. They're staged in the actual plastic piece. So you're unscrewing those. You're pulling off 1, 2, 3, 4, and loosening this, and it comes off. All right, so that was attached to this, and the hole was just wrapped around and tightened down with that. Just so you know, you're not completely in the dark. And just a trick of the hobby, a trick of the trade. If you get in the event that you get some hoses that are seized, crud and stuff around here, you just lightly put your grips on it and you twist it a little left and right so it comes apart. That's all. And then you pull it out. So as you see, I'm able to pull it out. So look, we got enough room. We're gonna fasten this up, but your sensor is right here. This is your knock sensor right here. It monitors airflow, emissions in your car. Has a clip, and that's right beside your starter too for the K series. And we're gonna get a long socket. There it is. Boop. Oh, right. Sorry, right here. It's right here. You're gonna get a long socket and take that out. Put the next one in, and we should be ready to go. So there we go. I got it stabilized. Let me get a light. Hold on. And this is it. There it is. That big old, with the clip gun at the circle. That is your knock sensor. And that is right beside your starter. This is how you can access your starter. I guess I'll eventually change mine out. It's perfectly fine now. I'm sure the brushes are worn. This is the same OEM starter. After 115,000 miles, it's just a good idea to change that out. Everything looks halfway decent. You know, some dust and such back here. Of course, I can clean that out. Should clean it out. But you got your gasket here. Make sure that's flush and stable and on. But let's let's get this puppy out of here. Oh, and one more thing. In order for you to get your intake, your exhaust manifold to this angle, this is where I ran into potential problem. It took me maybe 25 minutes to get in here. You might be able to get in from the bottom, but this bracket is going to a 12 millimeter. Where is that? The 12 millimeter bolt. That's it's providing support to an extent, but the main thing is it looks like it's 50-50. It's aiding this clip that it doesn't get stuck to anything, I guess, with all the heat going on down here, and so it's a hunk of metal, so it's also supporting this as well. But this bolt goes through that hole, and that hole is attached. Let me point it out with my flat head. It's going in here. Shucks. I don't know if you can see that, but right there's a hole ready for a screw, and that's what you're attaching and fastening all that to. I don't think it's mandatory, but I'm thorough. Put everything back. Well, this is where it goes to. I don't know if that's doing any justice. I can't see anything. I have a reflection of trees in the background on my phone screen. I got the sun in my face on the right, but that screwdriver is in it. If you see it. And look, this is a 1 1/16 deep socket wrench for this particular big old sensor. All right, a basic deep socket set is not going to come with this standard on it. All right, you're going to have to get this separately. And I've ran into this problem a couple times. There are a couple sensors on this car, at least I can speak concerning the Acura TSX, the 04 to 08. There are a few sensors, maybe literally, well, at least 3 that I've dealt with, that require this one. It doesn't come standard on your basic deep socket set. All right, so just, I think this was like $12-13. Go ahead and fork it over now, or find a set that has these sizes on it, so you don't have any problem. Like, oh yeah, I did it before. Like, yeah, I got it. I'm great. I got deep socket wrenches. I'm ready to go. Just to fail. All right, so just do yourself a favor now. All right, and this is the reason for this video and this channel, is to learn from my mistakes. Oh, and get yourself a 1/2-inch adapter. That's just a need as well. So we're going ahead with this big thing. And it didn't require much force at all. It just came right off, and that's how tight it should be. It should be a little snug. Be careful how much torque you put in on any of these bolts or anything that's plugged into the engine. It can crack the aluminum engine. I think I spoke on it before in a previous video. I had a traumatizing situation. I've been driving Acuras all my life, and I had a 1996 TL. It was on its way out. I think I sped up the process a little bit, but that's it. Before we get into that, I pulled that from here. It's out. It's completely out. Now we're gonna put another one and continue the story. But this is the OEM, and this is the part. That's the cover for it. And we're gonna put that in. Yeah. And we're just finger tightening it up right there. I'm screwing it. And back to that story. I was doing a oil pressure sensor, and the oil pressure sensor is usually on the back. Well, for this car, it was on the back. I know it's on the back of this one as well. I over torqued it, long story short, and it cracked it split the back right of the engine. That engine was it had a crack block, which I don't think my circumstance sped it up at all, but it had a crack block already, and it was just an unfortunate occurrence. The crack block turned out to be, and they thought it was a head gasket blown, which is something that was common with those engines. And you're seeing how much I'm tightening it. It's not off a lot at all. This thing has a better chance of falling off the car because I'm loosening it, keeping it too loose before I'm over tightening it. That heat and everything that's going to be around here is going to get that nice and suctioned to that car. So that you don't need to over tighten it at all. A lot of these bolts you don't need to do that. But long story short on the TL is they thought it was the head gasket, and it turned out that it wasn't the head gasket. I ended up paying $2,500, and I think it was 2007. $2,500 for something that wasn't accurate. So I associated all of it with that whole engine failing and just wrote it off as my fault. But just lesson learned. Don't over tighten your stuff at all. But as you see here, it's in there. I gave it a little tug. Sorry, I'm not gonna give it anything. Now it's the process of putting all this stuff back, and you might not see all of it because it's going to take 2 hands instead of 1. All right, we got a major development. This is my 2nd time doing this. I took my car to the shop. I forgot what they did on it, but the point I'm making is this. Where is it at? What you see right here at the bottom, this is a stud. All right, this stud is supposed to go in. Let me brace it. Hold on. All right, so back to this major development. We got this stud right here. This goes into the bracket. This was not on at all. And I don't know why that happened or how that happened. But you putting a nut, you putting the bracket, the top part of the bracket, flush it in here. You bring the nut on the bottom. All right. I didn't have a nut or anything. I had to go in my reserves. And you start accumulating stuff just over time. But this nut is going to be in between this bracket and this. This explains a lot. That's why. This is why I'm bent on familiarizing myself with my car, because people come behind you and you just blindly trust mechanics to do certain things, especially a place that's trying to put out stuff for the sake of business. I don't know, but it is what it is. That's going off on a tangent. But this, it's not going to come down now, but it flushes up against that. There's a hole. It's clear as day. Unfortunately, I can't get the camera down there. So it's a hole right here that accepts that. All right, you're putting that in, you're bolting it down, and you're coming back and putting this in. This whole thing keeps this up. Granted, these 2 bolts should be sufficient. It's just being thorough. And I wondered why. I heard this. When my car's idle, I hear this clinging up. That explains that. So yeah, that just happened. Oh, and the main reason why I'm down here is you want to do this first before you put anything back. Secure this bottom one to that, bring this down, secure this to that, and then go about your way, about your business. All right, I think I know why. I think I know why they didn't put that bolt back in. That's not a happy bolt at all. The hole that it goes, there's no way. It's way down there. I'm just gonna speak on it. The hole that it goes into, there's no wiggle room, so it has to go straight in. You're going to get your hands cut up a little bit. Gloves, you're not going to be able to feel anything. But once you thread it through, the ratchet and rinse comes through again. Ooh. All right, guys, it's on there good enough. It's not flush. That's obvious as to why they didn't put it back on there. That area, that whole bracket that we were talking about is horrible. I had to go get the big tools. It pushed it in there enough. It's not flush. But then the one on the top, I have to get manually. I have to go in behind the throttle body and filter it with my hand. I don't even know if that's just a good idea, because you got enough support right here as it is. I'm going to see. Now that I know, I think I should be able to come back and unscrew it by hand. In the event that I need to come back and get behind the exhaust manifold, let me see if I can get this bolt. Nope. The stud that I showed you earlier, it's coming down from the bottom of the intake. And for me to go up in there and try to put a nut on it with these hands, I'm gonna lose it. But what it is doing is it's providing support at the bottom into the engine, and it's stabilizing this. So it's going down into the ring and it's stabilizing this from moving backwards and forwards. So it is providing support. It's not completely useless, and it's not completely off, and it's not dinging. Hopefully it's not dinging when my car idles. Food for thought. You didn't need to take this one off. That's coolant. You didn't need to do that at all, and that's made evident by the fluid, the saturation on the metal piece when you decide to pull it back a little bit. Anything that has any type of moisture on it, just leave it alone, for the sake of removing the exhaust manifold. And what I like to do is, when I'm putting stuff back, just make sure you're putting it back in a sense that when you come back the third or fourth or fifth time, that it's easily and readily available and accessible. So you're not bending or torquing your body to the extent of pain. Where is it at? Yep, that's a little cut right there. No guts, no glory. And if you do a lot of work on your car, power tools make quick work of a lot of these bolts. I'd be here all day on a lot of these bolts. But what I like to do is I bring them all the way to, well, I can't even get to it, but it goes to the end position, and right before it gets flush, I hand tighten them down. They come with a lot of torque, so just be cautious, use with caution, be smart. All right, we're done. No, we're not. Now we're technically done. So we're just putting the cover piece back on. Let me use two hands. All right, the cover's back on. It should start up. It's not a real deal moment of truth. I got to read the codes and see exactly what it's yielding, then test drive it to make sure it's not dragging a little bit. Let me get the codes. Let me get the OBD2. Well, I take that back. That bad boy is idling strong, actually. As you see, it idles around 6,000, 7,000 RPMs rotation per minute. As you see, I have check engines. No maintenance required. That stabilize and assist is something completely different. I'm still troubleshooting that. But that's a pretty strong idle. Alright. Alright. I forgot to plug in a clip. So that's a lot better. There we go, that's a little more responsive. That sounds a lot better. And that's a strong 6,000, 6.5, 6 3/4 RPMs. Let's read the code, let's make sure. Alright. This is the smaller Foxwell OBD2 NT201. Oh, NT201 OBD2. There it is. Foxwell. I like Foxwell. They make decent stuff. The brand that's endured through the tides of time. But we should have a transmission's range sensor, and that should be it. I gotta cut the switch to the on position. I forget all the time. It's the old brain. I think I do need to put it in the on position. I forgot. Yep. Alright, I'm not gonna make you all hit this again. Alright, so we know we have red. Again, that's the transmission pressure sensor. We have 5 codes found. Yeah. Let's see if we can erase that one. Yeah, that's probably with the. Now, if the Knox isn't resolving it, then I'm assuming it's the Cadillac converter. All right. Those are as a result of me not putting the clip back in. So let's erase them. Oh, hold on. Let's fire the car back up again to see if it's going to bring any codes. Alright. Yeah, we're good. So it's back down to 1 code, which is the transmission range sensor. That one's not going anywhere anytime soon. I gotta take it in to somebody. And that's it. We're back to 1. Yay! The knock sensor seemed to remedy the lean running of the car. I'll keep an eye on it, but for right now, it's not the catalytic converter, and we are good to go. You can like, you can subscribe. This is just a vlog on stuff that I'm doing with my car. It's a time capsule as well. Maybe my great grandchildren will be utilizing YouTube one day. They can hear and see their grandpappy, that super duper great grandpappy. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section. Until next time.